Hello and welcome to the third installment of what will be a long-running series on my channel called 100 Casts. In this series, I will be shoutcasting 100 games sent in from viewers, given to me by friends, maybe even a game or two of my own, just to practice my shoutcasting ability because I plan on eventually turning this hobby of mine into a possible career. I would love to cast for the ESL, for Riot, for anyone who needs a shoutcaster and is willing to take me on after I've finished this, gotten a bunch of practice in, but I know that right now my casting ability is not exactly at its peak, and so this series is going to be put together to help me practice my casting. So, because of that, not every single one of these videos is going to be pristinely edited. There's going to be very little editing at all, actually, because shoutcasting is something done live, and not every single one of these videos is going to be entirely perfect, because I'm not very good at shoutcasting yet. The whole point of doing this is so that I become good at shoutcasting. So, without further ado, let's get into this third match here that I have for you, which was sent in to me by Lord Ozium, the one playing the Shyvana in the top right corner of your screen. Oh, and if you'd like your replay to be featured on this channel, having me shoutcasting over it, simply send a copy of it to me. OP.GG replays usually are most cooperative, but I can get Baron replay to work. I'm still working on LOL replay. It's very buggy and very uncooperative most of the time. So those ones might take a bit of a delay before I can cast over them, but go ahead and send them to me. The email you should be sending them to will be in the description for this video. Thank you. Enjoy the video. Alright, so let's get this going then, shall we? We have two teams, as in all League of Legends games, and on the blue side, we have Zed in the mid lane, Shyvana in the top, Shyvana being the one who sent in this replay, thanks again, Lord Ozium, Shaco being the jungle, and I love Shaco's name. His name is, I think it's I Am Clown? Yes, it is. Obviously a Shaco main. Hopefully, he does pretty well in this game. It's a plat level game and he's a Shaco main, so that means he's either going to wreck face all the time or make you wonder how he ever got to this level playing the clown. In the bot lane, for blue team, we have Lucian and Leona. Nice little bit of alliteration there with the double L. And they're facing off against a Caitlyn and Vel'Koz, which is an interesting lane comp. Vel'Koz is... I still question it. Some people say he's quite a good support. I still question it because he's just so squishy and immobile, and Leona's going to have such an easy time Zenith blading onto that and bursting him down with her passive, and Lucian's pretty formidable burst with his passive as well as low cooldown, high damage Q. Yeah, so I'm a little bit questionable. I think the Vel'Koz call here was a little bit questionable, but it could go pretty well. They do have the range advantage. Caitlyn really has the range advantage over Lucian ever since his changes. Even before that she did, because she's Caitlyn and has the range advantage over everyone. But now it's just compounded even more, and Vel'Koz as well, his spells have quite a long range, even though his autos are pretty pathetic, about Thresh's auto range, I believe, maybe even lower. But his spells are quite long range, especially if you're good at geometry. You can get those angles to make the little balls of purple stuff hit people who are incredibly far away from you. It makes me regret not paying any attention during my math classes in high school. So we have Shaco starting his blue buff by himself. Well, not really by himself, using about 4 or 5 boxes there to help him take it, not taking a whit of damage from that buff. And top lane, Rengar and Shyvana are already going at it, both of them beating onto each other. Shyvana having taken W first, has that burning almost the whole way. They both burn Flash and Ignite. Who's going to get the kill here? It's close, tooth and nail, but Shyvana just gets it. Does she go down to the Ignite? No, she does not. That is first blood going to Shyvana in a 500 gold lead for blue team already at 2.5 minutes. That's got to feel pretty nice for the Dragon. Zed versus Fizz here in the mid lane. Zed seems to be getting the advantage. He flashes in and ignites with an auto. Does the Ignite take a kill to Fizz? Yes, it does, as Fizz is under his tower going down despite having Barrier. Perhaps he should have brought Heal in that matchup. Ever since the changes to Heal, Barrier really just kind of pales in comparison, though it does prevent more damage later on in the game, so maybe he's running for the late game with that mastery, that setup there. But Vel'Koz getting Zenith bladed onto by the Leona, though I think Lucian's Q didn't quite hit him there. I couldn't tell because the overlay was in the way, but it looked like Lucian's Q didn't quite hit him, and Vel'Koz still has a good chunk of his health left over after popping a health pot. landing some poke on Leona there, but doesn't seem to be doing too much damage. Leona being quite tanky, as all Leonas are, though the true damage is going to hurt her a bit, as Vel'Koz gets the true damage proc onto her with his W. Seems to have taken W first and Q second, which I think is the way most Vel'Koz support players do it, though I'm no expert. I do main support, for those of you who are curious, but I mainly play the tankier supports in Leona Thresh, and Shaco is here in the bot lane. I am Clown coming in, getting some autos onto the Caitlyn and throwing a knife, but really nothing more than that. Doesn't really seem to be too successful in the gameplay for summoners. Rengar jumping out of the bush onto Leona, landing his empowered Q. Not Leona, that's a Shyvana. I don't know what I'm talking about. Shaco down in the bot lane again, didn't really seem to even leave the lane at all. The tower kills his box before it can proc the clear, though. Shyvana, not having bought any items, is really feeling the pain in this matchup, since Rengar has had a chance to go back and get some more health pots to his name so he can sustain up much more easily than Shyvana can in this matchup, but after Shyvana backs, it's going to be more difficult for Rengar, though actually it seems like she did back already and has 2 Doran's items, so scratch all that. I really don't know why she's losing these trades. Perhaps she's just misplaying them, or Rengar has a better level 3 and 4 than Shyvana does. I don't play top too often, so I don't know the matchups too well. Leona here, Zenith Blading onto the Vel'Koz and getting her Q stun, though she is out of mana after that combo, and the blue side is forced to back away. Caitlyn trading a headshot onto Lucian and making the trade nearly even, as Shyvana and Rengar beat each other again in this top lane. It's just a constant battle up here with Shyvana and Rengar fighting each other over and over. Zed getting ganked by the Jarvan. I don't think he's going to go down, though. Takes a lot of damage on the combo. That was a good gank. Didn't burn any summoners, but really gave Fizz some lane presence that he really needed after Zed got that kill onto him earlier in the game. Shyvana having a level advantage here, might try and press her advantage, is pushing the minions into Rengar, who is pinging for assistance from his team. Maybe Jarvan's going to answer that ping and come up. No, looks like he's coming back to the mid lane. He's got the red buff, and Zed is pushed a bit far up. Maybe he can get him. He misses the knockup by lands. His slow from his shield has the red buff knock on him, but the red buff wears off midway through the gank, and Zed gets away. No more slows being available for Jarvan, no more CC at all, and Fizz being a bit too low to follow up. Leona now has some mana and is jumping in on the Vel'Koz, nearly killing him. Caitlyn popping heal at the last second. Vel'Koz igniting the Leona. Leona stepping on a trap and going down to the Caitlyn auto, with Lucian just nearly getting the kill, but not quite enough damage as he flashes in and dashes forward, but Vel'Koz getting away with the skin of his tentacles. I don't think he has teeth. And Jarvan coming in just to help Caitlyn finish off the Lucian at the end there, as Caitlyn goes back to farming, pushing it in, getting a double kill for the Caitlyn. Yes, she got both of those kills, and that's really going to put Caitlyn ahead in this lane, where she already had the advantage because the matchup between Caitlyn and Lucian is very one-sided. Shaco here down in bot, a level down, might not want to do this gank, but he seems to be okay with it, walking in, getting as many backstabs as he can, igniting her, forcing her flash out. Does the ignite tick down? No, it doesn't. It does not get her, but still a flash burn for a Ignite. That's a pretty good trade for the Shaco. Probably going to be able to come back to bot lane and take advantage of the fact that Caitlyn is now down a summoner. Might be able to get a kill there. With a Leona in the lane and Shaco being able to invisibly walk in, that's certainly going to be some gankable territory right there. Shyvana just stopping Rengar's back, walking into the bush. Both of them level 6 now, but the way that lane has been going, I'm expecting them both to use their level 6 fairly soon. They seem to love fighting each other up there. It's just a constant back and forth in this top lane. It's really fun to watch. For once, a Shyvana lane is fun to watch. oh yes. And we have Lucian and Leona in the bot lane just pushing it up into tower while Caitlyn walks back, denying her some of the CS. Shyvana walking under tower there, getting some damage onto the Rengar, but ulting in the wrong direction. Well, maybe the right one. Maybe she intended to get out of tower. Maybe she didn't want to commit fully to that dive. But Rengar popping his ult now, walking up next to the Shyvana, dealing a ton of damage. Both of them burning their flashes, neither one dying, and both going down to about 100 health. But they're both still in the lane. Something might still happen up here. Sorry for the lag spike there. Not quite sure what caused that. Maybe some issue with the replay. Something could happen here in the top lane. It certainly has been, lots. Camera, why are you not switching up to the top lane? I suppose interesting things are happening down here. Leona's using her targets to get a cannon minion. That's certainly the right way to go about doing things. Shaco up top, He's invisibly walking up behind the Rengar. I think this spells doom for Rengar. Shaco getting a backstab, and I keep wanting to call her Leona, but that is a Shyvana, not a Leona. The Shyvana getting the kill on a Rengar with her Q, the double auto attack there. Zed just ulting away to avoid the Fizz's ult damage in the mid lane as Jarvan shows up, and Zed has to flash away over the wall to escape that, but still he got Jarvan and Fizz's ult and lived, so I'd call that a victory for the Zed there, escaping from that near-death situation, and still living to farm another day under his tower, though he does lose 3 CS there. Fizz diving him, using his E to avoid a tower shot. Both of them going down. Do they both go down? Here's the Shaco in mid lane going to throw a knife. And he's in range. Is he in range? He tosses the knife, but Fizz, of course being the fish that he is, jumps up onto his pole, and that negates all knives. Everyone knows that jumping is the way to avoid a knife. You cannot be hit by knives if you are, in fact, jumping on a stick. And Vel'Koz and Caitlyn putting their range to good effect here, dropping a lot of poke onto the enemy bot lane of Leona and Lucian, the alliterative bot lane. And they're a level ahead now, thanks to pushing constantly, though as I say that, the other bot lane levels up to 6, and this is a very even, very interesting game so far. Both teams nearly at the same exact amount of gold-wise. Shyvana and Rengar dueling it out up top again. Shyvana having lots more health than the Rengar. I think Rengar has to back away from this situation. Yes, he also agrees with me, but Shyvana jumps in dragon form, gonna dive the Rengar under tower. Does she get enough damage to kill him? We switch now to bot lane where Leona is ulting onto the Vel'Koz. The Vel'Koz having very little mobility, none at all in fact, does go down, but Caitlyn gets the kill onto Leona right there. Caitlyn ulting to finish off. No, Jarvan gets the kill onto Shaco, but Caitlyn going down herself because she had to stand still for that ult and took quite a bit of burst damage from the Lucian and the Shaco, and all in all, I believe it's a 2 for 2 down in the bot lane with Shaco's clone clown just sitting there looking very sad because his friend, the real Shaco, is dead. Rengar taking a guess, realizing that Shyvana's in the bush and stopping her back with his Bola strike. Shyvana, being a little bit annoyed at this, is going to back away a bit as Rengar keeps jumping out of bushes at her, that kitty that can jump so very far. And they're back to dueling again. Shyvana tagging the Rengar with her E, and both of them just landing autos after autos onto each other. Neither of them ever seeming to go down, though. They're both got such... Rengar has such good sustain, and the Shyvana has so much tankiness. It's just incredibly difficult for either side of that matchup to actually finalize a kill, because they both also have ults which allow them to escape fairly easily. The Rengar just going invisible, and there's not much Dragon can do when her quarry is invisible. And the Dragon just being able to leap away at a moment's notice whenever her ult is up, which is fairly common. Here's the Fizz ult landing onto Zed. I really don't think Zed can escape this one. No, he goes down to the final auto attack of Jarvan while standing inside of his Cataclysm and being eaten by a giant void fish. And Vel'Koz roaming up to the mid here. Looks like Purple Side's wanting to go for their first tower of the game here, pushing up the mid lane. But Caitlyn is all alone in the bot lane, and Shaco is down there as well. This is a dangerous situation for the Sheriff to be in. She's going to be going down. Yep, Leona actually taking that kill with the auto attack as they dive a little bit under the tower. And we see in the mid lane, Purple Team, because of all the pressure down bot, is able to get a tower for themselves, which puts them 1 up on the board in terms of towers and 1,000 up on the board in terms of gold at 12 minutes into the game. And Shaco here, invisible on top of the Vel'Koz, going to be laying a lot of damage onto him after cloning, coming out of the invisibility as 2 Shacos, so they have no idea which one's the correct one to attack. And both of the Shacos getting quite low, but neither one going down as Shaco just finishes off a pink ward right after killing off a Fizz and a Vel'Koz. With the help of his bot lane coming up to roam. The blue side is pinging Dragon now. They might be going for a Dragon play as Rengar pushes the top lane. If they do go for a Dragon play, Rengar is probably going to be getting this turret, though Shyvana is going up there. Shyvana having Ignite rather than Teleport, which is a bit odd. Most top laners are running Teleport at this point in the meta, though I do like the Ignite a lot more. It makes for a more interesting top lane, as we've seen in this game, because it means that the top laner can duel more often, as the top laner is doing right now, leaping onto the Rengar. Rengar forced to use his ult, probably to try and escape. Might try and re-engage with that, though. No, he seems to be walking into the bush and just backing into the bush invisible. No, now he's re-engaging. He just can't make up his mind, this cat. He's got 4 stacks of ferocity. Shyvana's diving him under the tower. Rengar drops the ignite on Shyvana, and Shyvana, scared away by that, leaps away. However, Zed is here with the ult. He ults the Rengar under tower. I really don't think Rengar can escape from this one. Shyvana forced to flash away, though, or else she might take a few too many tower hits and go down. Doesn't want to do that, wants to play it safe. And a kill in bot lane as well for blue side, as I'm commentating in the top lane one. His team just can't get enough of the action. Jarvan coming down and cataclysming on to the Lucian, who is forced to flash out of Jarvan's little arena of death. However, he does escape, so Jarvan not really getting anything aside from a flash out of that. Jarvan, however, going back in on Leona, who has stepped on a trap and is out of mana, cannot cast her W for the tankiness, steps on another trap. I know those cupcakes are delicious, Leona, but they come with a side of death as she finds out for herself that they in fact do come with a side of quick and painful death. And now purple team is going to be going towards the Baron. They are pinging it madly. We've got Vel'Koz and I believe Jarvan, and one of the bot laners was there. Vel'Koz is one of the bot laners, what am I saying? And Caitlyn is on her way as well as Fizz, so it looks like purple team is really going to be securing this dragon for themselves unless Shaco can pull off a smite steal. He does flash, uses Q to go over the wall, but Jarvan secures it with the smite before going down to the Shaco's burst. However, Shaco does get shut down by the Vel'Koz, so not really sure how worth that trade was on Shaco's part. If he had gotten the dragon, it would certainly have been worth, but a 1-for-1 where he gave up a shutdown is not the best trade there could have been. Zed back in the mid lane, pushing up. His tower is down, so he doesn't feel quite as safe anymore, most likely against this Fizz, because Jarvan can come in around behind him. That's the advantage of getting rid of the mid tower. It gives you the most map control. And here's Shyvana and Rengar dueling it out once again, just autoing each other over and over. Rengar getting 5 stacks of ferocity, using it on his W to heal himself and get that extra tankiness. Shyvana running forward with her W active, going to leap onto the Rengar after he goes invisible, but it's not quite enough damage, so Rengar escapes in his ultimate. So at least they traded ultimates, but that seems really all that's happening down up in the top lane, as in bot lane, Caitlyn is getting dove as she fails to dodge the Leona ult, and Leona kills off the tower with her Q. Cheeky little Q there, taking the tower kill from Lucian. Not that it really matters, aside from for pride reasons. You must get all the tower kills as support. That is, I challenge all you support players out there to do that. And here's Zed dodging the Fizz ult with his own ult, makes him invulnerable for a short time, so he can actually dodge lots of damage. If you play a good Zed, you can dodge a lot of things with his ult. For those of you who weren't aware, Shaco here, though, trying to dodge the Jarvan ult with his own ult, which has a similar effect, also makes him invulnerable. And no, not the Jarvan ult, the Jarvan Q, but he fails to, and both him and the clone go down to the jabbing spear of Jarvan, which is sharp enough to kill 2 clowns with 1 skewer. Vel'Koz a little bit caught out here, forced to flash away from the Lucian and Shyvana. Looks like blue team wants to push up mid, but purple team is responding in kind, bringing their Rengar, Vel'Koz, and Jarvan to play here. Shyvana getting taken down below half health by the poke of purple team. I think she was taunting them a little bit there, spamming the dance animation from over the lane. Took a bit more damage than she expected to, perhaps. And now purple team is pushing up the mid, though I doubt they're going to stick with that, seeing as they've already gotten the outer tower of blue team, and I don't think they're going to be able to get the inner tower at this point. The minimap, by the way, is Lion. I'll get to that in a second, as Leona jumps in onto the Vel'Koz, ulting him. Sorry about the little bug there, I had to pause it while it was playing, and you might have seen a little stutter there as it went from one segment of video to the next. I'm sorry about that if you noticed it. As I was saying, I guess I'll get back to that in a second, as Shaco is invisibly jumping onto this Fizz, dealing tons of damage, and along with the Lucian taking him down. Lucian racking up a lot of kills for himself at this point, is 5-1, and Shaco gets the kill onto Jarvan there, following up after killing the Fizz. Shyvana and Rengar dueling it out top. Shyvana might go down here to the Rengar. No, he chooses not to jump onto her, and like the indecisive cat he is, he again comes around. After getting 5 stacks of ferocity, after his ult runs out, the way the ult now works for Rengar is he gets the 5 stacks after the ult, as well as the movement speed buff. Caitlyn getting dove here by the Zed. He uses ult, then after diving under the tower, going incredibly low, would have died to 1 more tower hit, but he presses R again, teleports back to where he left his shadow, his trusty shadow buddy, after diving onto that Caitlyn, and manages to escape with his life and taking Caitlyn's. Shaco here behind the Rengar. I don't think Rengar knows about this. This is a bit of a dangerous situation for Rengar to be in. He's going to run into the bush, but there's a Leona on the other side of the bush. I think his only plan here is to try and take down... Yes, he tries to take down the Shaco, but Shaco, going into his ult, confuses the hell out of the poor kitty. He doesn't know which one to Q, tries to Q both, stutters both animations, and ends up not being able to take down the clown, though he does take half of his health despite being outplayed there. So Rengar doing a lot of damage. I don't think Leona and Lucian were on quite the same page there. Leona ulting the Vel'Koz and Lucian walking the other way, but Lucian realizing in time, coming back with the culling and culling the hell out of that Vel'Koz. He just gets so very cold, he didn't even know what was happening. He just ends up being so cold. It's insane, the amount of culling that happened in that play. And as I was saying earlier, the minimap is in fact lying to you. Many of the towers are up that look like they are down. I'm not sure why. Baron Replace has this specific bug where towers seem to flicker in and out of existence on the minimap. As you can see, that tower is in fact up, even though the minimap says that it is broken. So don't take the minimap with a pinch of salt, as Zed is a lot out of position here. He goes down to the Fizz, takes a bunch of Rengar's health bar with him, but not enough to actually take the Rengar with him, and ends up dying in the middle of the purple side's jungle, perhaps biting off a bit more than he could chew running in there. Shyvana, though, is taking advantage of this and is pushing up top, starting to damage the inner top tower in top lane, the one which the minimap says doesn't exist. As you can tell, it is in fact a liar. And purple side is sending a lot of troops up there to deal with this incursion into their territory. They do not like having dragons attacking their tower. And meanwhile, Vel'Koz all alone by the Dragon Pit, being chased down by an evil clown. I don't think he's going to be able to escape this one. Nope, Cullen coming over the wall, and another victim of the culling goes down. Lucian just culling so many fools this game. He is, at this point, 7-1, and I can only expect him to get stronger. Lucian does not, in fact, get weaker as the game goes on. He is actually an AD carry and thus scales pretty well into the late game. Shyvana, again, taunting the enemy team, standing a few Teemos length in front of them and just spamming the dance button on her keyboard, whatever that happens to be bound to. Probably mouse 1, knowing Shyvana's. Wait, no, that's Singed. Anyways, pinging for assistance. Lucian wants to start the dragon. Shaco's going to be coming over to help him. The rest of his team is staying mid, though. Perhaps it is as a distraction, perhaps because they don't notice what's happening. Shyvana stepping on the Caitlyn trap, eating that delicious cupcake. Not with a side helping of death this time, as it happened in bot lane. Shyvana able to eat cupcakes with very little risk, being as tanky as she is. And in the mid lane, blue team is pushing up after having secured the dragon with their AD carry and jungle down there. And blue team, by this point, has accrued slowly a 3,000 to 4,000 gold lead for themselves. So they're not crushingly ahead. They're not at the point where purple team should be surrendering out of soul-crushing defeat. But they are at the point where they could be considering making the moves themselves, not having to react to purple team and instead trying to make a play, which it seems like Leona and Shyvana are doing right now, though they might have miscalculated their ability to playmake, and 2 purple team members go down in a fiasco. Shaco probably going to go down himself, but maybe take someone with him. No. After 2 flashes, both Fizz and Jarvan escape the evil clown duo, and no one goes down on purple side. 3 people go down on blue side. That is overall not good for blue side, as Vel'Koz is just choosing to face tank this inner mid tower. Purple team going to be pushing this out. Culling coming in onto the Rengar, though, and another victim goes down to Lucian, who is legendary at this point, though he might get shut. Yes, he does get shut down by the auto attack of Caitlyn, as Vel'Koz actually gets executed by the tower, no one having dealt any damage to that interplanar squid, as I like to consider Vel'Koz, a void traveler from void. That kind of trailed off a little bit. Zed and Leona here, best buddies forever, pushing up the mid lane. Leona getting some of those stacks off. I kid. Leona not getting any of her Target Spray stacks off because Zed wants to farm all the minions himself. As a support main, as I said earlier, I rather dislike when my team doesn't seem to realize that I have a Targens and I will share the gold with you if you simply stop using your tons and tons of damage to kill all the minions instantly before I can do anything about it. Please, I have only 50 AD. I cannot do much to these minions. You kill them too quickly for me. No. Anyways, Lucian farming the rates here down in the red side of the blue jungle, and Rengar and Jarvan here up in the top lane on Shyvana. I do not think Shyvana can escape from this one. She's going to Dragon away now. She doesn't seem to even want to do that, knowing she's pretty much lost at that point. She's not going to even bother using her ult. She's just going to give up and let them have the kill. Shaco doing a neat little trick there, using his ult to go invulnerable for a second to avoid the last tower shot that would have killed him after he dives Caitlyn. And Jarvan using his EQ on the Leona, taking lots of damage in return though. But Lucian in a bit of a pickle here, Rengar chasing him down, Lucian culling him straight in the face, but not quite enough culling. He goes down, nearly taking out the Rengar before he does, but not quite having enough damage. Leona here to finish the job on the cat. The last auto from Leona does in fact kill him, but the ticking dot of Fizz is going to kill Leona. No, she relic shields herself. Does she live? No. Nope, Fizz has a dash. Fizz has a dash, and Leona has no more hit points. Leona going down. Maybe Shaco going to take out the Fizz here, though, but Fizz is a bit slippery, and I think Shaco is not going to be able to get this one. Lands his passive on the Shaco, slows him, but Shaco just eating away, using that playful trickster to get away. And Shaco going to leap over the wall here with his invisibility. This is clever of him. But the Fizz also having Playful's Trickster up again, and Vel'Koz zoning him out with that knockup. Shaco is not going to be able to get the kill despite repeated efforts. Fizz just being a bit too slippery, and as we know, jumping on a stick is the best way to avoid a knife. And so Shaco gets away with his life, but as does the fish. Lucian actually getting the blue buff here, as Shaco has the enemy team's blue buff, having counter-jungled that earlier, so Lucian with a blue buff is a bit of a terror. His cooldowns get fairly low towards the late game once he's maxed abilities, and once he has max CDR and his E is maxed, he can dash around all over the place with the new Lucian changes, but we see Shyvana and Rengar having a wet noodle fight up here in the top lane, or near the top lane rather, in the jungle next to it, as Jarvan tries to join in, but Shyvana just leaves, being tanky enough to just leave whenever she really feels like. Fizz actually throwing out his ult and missing it as Shaco steps onto a cupcake, and Vel'Koz knew he was there, he had vision, but he didn't seem to be paying attention to the clown. He probably didn't expect a clown to be that close to him. But the clown does go down to Fizz as Leona once again kills the kitty. This Sun Warrior being able to kill cats pretty effectively. I did not realize that was one of the things that they taught you in the Academy of the Sun, or wherever it is that Leona learned in her lore. I don't remember. Shyvana getting away there from the Jarvan being too tanky for them to finish. And all in all, I believe that is a 2 for 4 in favor of purple side, so evening out the goal just about nearly. 500, 600 gold difference, not really that big of a deal at this point in the game when both teams have over 40k gold. The only reason why blue side has that minuscule lead is likely because they have a tower advantage of 4 towers to 3 towers. Again, do not believe the minimap, it lies. It is a lying it is a lying insert profanity here. I'd rather not swear in these videos. And we see Jarvan just clearing out a sight ward from blue side that was lying next to one of his pink wards, and was easy pickings for him. And then he takes his own red buff as Lucian takes the red buff down on blue side's red side jungle, and Fizz and Caitlyn are pushing up the mid lane. Perhaps some team fight. I sense a team fight brewing in the mid lane as many members are coming here to make it an ARAM, all random, all mid. And we have Leona, Lucian, Zed here in the mid lane with Shaco pinging the dragon. Looks like blue side wants to start a dragon fight. Purple side does not want to let this go without a fight, though. They are roaming down. Sorry about the FPS issues right there. I'm not exactly sure what's happening, what that was. Rengar perhaps not realizing that there's a pink ward there, wanders up in his ult, expecting the invisibility to protect him, but it does not, because pink wards can see through invisibility, as we all know. But Vel'Koz doing a whole bunch of damage with that true damage, as Shyvana chases down Caitlyn behind purple team's lines. Looks like she's going to go down, but she did bring down Caitlyn with her, so that is a 2-for-1 overall in favor of blue side, bringing them again in the lead in terms of gold because they also did get the dragon by about 2,000 to 3,000 gold there. They probably are going to be like sitting on that, though at this point in the game, as I said earlier, that much of a gold lead doesn't mean too much. It does mean something. I mean, it's never bad to be ahead in gold, but it's certainly not going to decide the game for them. Lucian dashing over the knockup from Vel'Koz, getting hit by the slow, though. He does activate his Yunu's Ghostblade, flashes forward, gets the autos on Vel'Koz to kill him, but perhaps didn't realize that Jarvan was nearby. As Jarvan finishes off the Lucian, might finish off the Zed too. No, the Zed kills the Jarvan, gets the passive from Dangerous Game to regen him back to enough health so that he doesn't die to the Jarvan's Spirit of the Elder Lizard, and survives that engagement. Leona perhaps going to die to the cat here in a reversal of roles. Leona flashing away though, using the Relic Shield to have survived the Ignite, and then ulting the Rengar to survive as Shaco takes the last few bits of hit points off that inner tower at the top that Shyvana did such a good job of weaving it earlier. And Shyvana and Rengar going at each other with a pair of wet pieces of pasta in the mid lane. Rengar actually flashing away and going into his ult. Shyvana landing the W on the Rengar while invisible. That's pretty skillful right there, just predicting where the Rengar would be. Shaco trying to fight it out with the Fizz up top, but Fizz has the advantage in that 1v1 and manages to survive. Rengar using his empowered W to survive the duel with Shyvana, and both of them walk away from each other once again, neither one of them dying. This seems to be a continuing story in this game. The Rengar and the Shyvana fight each other for probably upwards of 5 or 6 seconds before both of them decide, I don't want to risk it anymore, and walk away. Neither one fighting it out to the end and finally figuring out which one of them would win in a 1v1 duel. Which I really want to know, actually. I wish they would just complete one of these fights at some point in this game. Aside from that level 1, which was really enjoyable to watch. It was a very well-played level 1 on both sides, and it was really just a matter of a few hit points that Shyvana survived there in the end. Zed finding Vel'Koz all by his lonesome. Jarvan trying to come to Vel'Koz's aid, but Zed just swapping back to his ult Shadow after getting the last auto attack with his passive on the Vel'Koz to finish him off. That's a kill. It's another kill for Zed, putting him at 7, 6, and 2, and having quite a good gold total for himself, I'm sure. With a Hex Drinker, Last Whisper, Yunu's, and Blade of the Rune King, he's going to be quite scary come these team fights with the immobility of the backline of purple side with that Vel'Koz and Caitlyn. Caitlyn only having the one net to escape, and Vel'Koz having no mobility at all. It's the only way he would be able to survive because he landed a very timely knockup, which, as we saw in that last engagement, wasn't even enough to stop the Zed, with that Blade of the Rune King being able to slow him down from escaping. Fizz and Leona. I don't know why I'm messing up Leona and Shyvana, getting them backwards. I apologize for the repeated incidences of incorrect name calling. But Fizz and Leona just having a little duel of emotes there. The Leona choosing to base over and over with her pool party skin, while the Fizz laughs at her. Rengar ulting in onto the Zed, doing quite a bit of damage, popping his Yunu's, but the Zed flashes away as his Hex Drinker pops to the Rengar's W. Rengar nearly getting cold, but it's body blocked successfully before he goes down as the Leona got separated from her team, and Fizz makes good on his threat earlier and kills off that Leona, getting no assists for it, just doing all the damage himself there as Zed killing the Rengar. But as all this is happening, the Shaco is up at Baron, taking that. Fizz getting another kill for himself on Zed, but blue team has slain Baron Nashor. The Shaco soloing it up there, though can you really call it soloing if he has that many boxes and that ultimate clone to help him? It's really 2 clowns and a bunch of Jack-in-the-Boxes killing off the Baron, which doesn't sound like it should really work, but it does. And that leaves blue side a few kills down, but with the Baron buff on 3 of their members and a split-pushing Shaco up in the top lane, doing the best he can to take out that inhibitor tower in the top. He looks like he's going to get it down before purple team can respond in time. Yes, he is, and he's certainly going to get away. He's the clown. He can jump over walls, turn invisible, fear people who try to chase him. He's very, very difficult to chase. He's very tricky. Here comes the Jarvan near him, though, probably going to... I don't know. I don't think Jarvan knows that he's there. Doesn't look like he's going to be going for him. Fizz, though, maybe going to go for him. Shaco dropping a box in the bush, ulting as Fizz jumps in, nearly doing enough damage to kill him, but Fizz barriers and Zhonya's at the same time. Maybe a bit of a panic right there, but both of them do combine to save him, but not long enough. Not so long that he can't go down to the culling from Lucian. Another victim culled for the Lucian on blue team here, who has culled quite his fair share of in this game. Jarvan dropping his ult and flashing out of it to delay the blue team, who is already taken out the Fizz here in the top lane and has a Baron up. Lucian and Shyvana chasing down Caitlyn, who goes down. Zed has found Vel'Koz split off from his team all alone over there. I don't think he's going to survive very long. Nope. Lucian dashing in and getting his passive proc onto the Vel'Koz to finish him off. Purple team is pushing up the top lane. They're going to be taking this top inhibitor, that's for certain. Leona flashing there. It looks like the surrender vote was called by the purple team, and the victory goes over to blue. Congratulations to all of them. Apparently the victory graphic is bugged. Anyways, thank you all. Have a good night, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are, and thanks for watching.